One challenge with any hobby is that if you stick with it long enough, you're gonna build up a list of assumptions. Sometimes you gotta stop and reassess. You gotta break the rules to make sure the things that were helpful back when are still helpful today. So let's break some rules with setting up an airflow pathway inside a panoramic PC case. We're gonna try some things out, we're gonna test all of it, we're gonna see what PC building advice has survived the passage of time. Here's something that many PC builders take for granted: bottom to top airflow. Heat rises, we're told, so let it rise. Listen, we're not here to argue with physics. Convection is a thing. Hot air does rise. But we're also talking about a closed box filled with high-performance fans. Are we really unable to make that air go any direction we want? Our test rig today includes the ROG Cronox, a big panoramic chassis with a curved tempered glass side panel stretching across the side and the front. First, let's check out how this rig performs when we follow conventional wisdom. In addition to the pre-installed fans on the side and the rear panels, we've installed reverse airflow fans on the bottom and put the radiator up top. Big thing to notice here, there just aren't any dead zones. Air is moving in every corner. That's part of the draw for putting a big AIO liquid cooling radiator up in the top of the panel. Now let's break the rules. Let's flip this PC upside down. Literally. The pro gamer move would have been to actually flip all these fans around individually, but, you know, just don't do this at home because it's 100% wrong to have the liquid cooling radiator hanging out underneath the pump. All that said, this hardware doesn't mind being flipped one bit. Sure, heat wants to rise, everything else being equal, but when we've got this many fans moving air in an enclosed space, we can make the air move any direction we want. Back in the day, lots of PCs only had one fan. That fan was on the rear panel, back here, and it did all the heavy lifting. Today's high-performance rigs require way more airflow than that. But even today, people assume that you need an exhaust fan right there. But maybe you're wondering if that fan is necessary. If you have a liquid cooling radiator up top, do you really need that rear fan? Or would it be better to have that fan as an intake instead? Let's break the rules and see what happens. So here we have this fan completely pulled out. And honestly, this isn't too bad. Since we have the fans for the AIO cooler right here, at least some air is moving through. But over the long term, or if we weren't using hardware with such large heat sinks, it might be a problem to not have this fan here. And if your AIO fans are set to run ultra quiet or turn off if the CPU runs below a certain temperature, those top exhaust fans might not keep air moving as much as your motherboard needs. There's really no reason to run a PC without this fan, so you might as well stick with conventional wisdom. Another configuration we tried involved flipping this fan around and using it as an intake. After all, we've got this big top exhaust running. Why not shoot some fresh air right at the CPU socket? As it turns out, that doesn't actually help. As you can see, this fan is working against the main airflow through the chassis, so we're just creating turbulence. At best, this fresh air we're pushing in is just slipping out the top before doing anything useful. At worst, it's complicating the airflow pathway in our build at a critical point. Turns out the conventional wisdom was spot on with this rear exhaust fan. Leave it, love it, let it cook. Some PC builders argue that you get diminishing returns from adding lots of case fans to your setup, that beyond a certain point, it's just a visual thing. So let's find out, at least for this hardware in this case. We'll leave the side intake and the top rear intake fans alone, because those come pre-installed in the ARGB version of this case. We'll leave the AIO cooler alone too. The fans that you might call optional are the ones in the bottom. When we pull these intake fans out, notice what happens to the airflow in the chassis. Immediately, the bottom half of the chassis becomes a no-fly zone. There's almost no air moving down there. We'd much rather see some air moving over the heat sinks for our secondary M.2 slots. Our graphics card is still doing okay, but that's more of a compliment to the incredible cooling power of the ROG Astral GeForce RTX 5080. If you're running a card that doesn't have a chart-topping cooling solution, or if you have an RTX 5090 pushed to the limits, you'll probably want to have more fresh air coming in directly at your GPU. It's also worth noting that we're filming this in a fairly chilly, air-conditioned room. Ambient temperatures are a huge factor when it comes to PC cooling. If your PC lives in a warmer room, you might see an immediate impact on GPU temperatures after you install bottom intake fans. All told, we think there's a role to play for just about any fan that you might want to install in your chassis. We put those fan mount points in for a reason. That reason might not apply to your specific build, so you don't need to feel like you have to fill up your case with the absolute maximum number of fans. But if you've pushed the rest of your rig to the limits, make sure you push the boundaries with your cooling system too. And if you're looking to keep noise levels low, adding more fans to the mix might mean that all of them can run at a slower, quieter speed. So it probably comes as no surprise that for the most part, the conventional wisdom about the case fans holds true. PC builders have been at it for a long time and they know what they're doing. If we've learned anything today, it's that things change a lot based on how you built and use your PC. So keep that air moving, track temperatures carefully, and build that cooling system that makes the most sense for your hardware.